as I say, even some Muslims hold this, but it's not that they hold the belief; they misunderstand.
Yeah.
That what the Bible is.
Whereas the reality is, so when we look at when we're talking about these books, the reality
these people they misunderstand and think that the Bible was originally the Torah, Zabur, and Injil, and it's had tahrif.
Yeah, just had
that it's been altered.
Yeah.
It's been altered, changed, and then now you have the Bible. No. Yeah. Even if we have the original books of the Bible, unaltered, unchanged, it's still not the Torah, Zabur, and Injil. It's still a collection of biographical accounts. Does that make sense? Now, these biographical accounts, yes, they do contain things that are true.
Yeah. And that's the second part. That's actually where, in reality, if we looked at the chart now, that actually what happens is you have the original, right? So you have the Torah, the Zabur, and the Injil. And then what happens is it goes through a translation and rewriting process of authors and scribes.
Well, I would say, like, for instance, you've got a lot of time between the original Torah, Zabur, and Injil and the actual hard copies, if you like, of the New Testament writings or the Old Testament writings, and the other problem with this is that they don't have a memorization tool like us. Our primary source of preservation is memorization. We have physical copies as well, but the point we're getting at here from their tradition, it's purely physical copies from what you can talk of preservation, and they don't have any that trace back to any of the messengers. So from our perspective, we cannot regard that as revelation.
Well, they'll claim oral tradition, but still that oral tradition itself, number one, it wouldn't have an isnad. So we say chains of narration. Number two, we recognize that there was a bias, that there was a theological bias in some of the people.
Well, that's secondary. That's not the point. That we get in here is the preservation. Forget about anything in it, right? But now we're just establishing the basis of it. The point we're saying here is that, for a start, it doesn't have an isnad. It has no link back to any of the messengers. Okay. Now, we have to look at the biblical books for what they are. They are old historical writings. They're not old enough to go back to Musa or Isa, but they're old books. They don't have an isnad, but they do contain things that agree with the Islamic narrative.
So that if we were to look at the picture, that actually the end result, if there are truths, little specks of truth, that isn't direct words of wahi or kalam Allah, but they are interpretations that were written by an author that probably took from
we don't know where it's from. We don't know where it's from. But it's true. Like, for instance, the Bible talks about Musa parting the sea. We don't know that the Torah spoke about Musa parting the sea. Do we? The Torah might not. Like, for instance, are all the Prophet Muhammad's miracles mentioned in the Quran? No. So somebody could have actually seen Musa parting the sea, and has a historical narrative wrote about it. So what we're saying here is, just because it's true, it doesn't mean that it's wahi. You understand? Now, how do we distinguish? So the first point is that we cannot say that the things within these Bible are wahi. Okay? Just because they're true. The reason is because we can't connect them with the Prophet or Allah. And Ibn Taymiyyah says this. He says that in order to clarify something as wahi, you have to have a link back to the messenger. But that doesn't take from the fact that there is truth within these books. And how do we know what's true? The things that agree with the Quran and the Sunnah. So now we're working backwards.
And that was, this was the